Hello, everyone, and welcome back to Continuum Market. I am your host, Kristina Bruhan. I am excited to introduce you guys to Benjamin Leff. He's the COO of Sheesha Finance. And Sheesha Finance is doing something very interesting with the data points that I'm collecting. They've taken DeFi and then added kind of a marketplace of value on top of that, almost like a gift card swap kind of thing. Sheesha Finance and Mercor Finance partner to increase data analytics, whoop, whoop,
Yeah,
accessibility in DeFi investing. The next piece I really want to talk with you is your community.
sure. And thank you so much for all the kind words. And we still believe that there's a long way to go. I remember when we were under 100 people setting up the Telegram channel, and although we're not massive, we're a little under 2,000. We're an extremely engaged community. And I like to attribute a lot of that, not just to a bit of my experience or a lot of my experience in the background of, social media marketing, specifically in crypto, but more so now that people who are joining these projects that are coming in and just doing their DeFi research are really asking hard-hitting questions as if they were journalists. It's very different than the FOMO, fear of missing out, for those of you who aren't familiar, that people experienced in the ICO days, where they just felt that they had to throw money at something. So what we've done from a community standpoint, again, is we've designed our entire ethos and our entire project around the community. So transparency and integrity in all that we do. So as painful as it was, we had a 32-day delay on launch. And every time I had to type an update, my stomach would churn. But you know what? I knew at the end of the day, I was doing the right thing by telling everybody all of the information rather than not revealing anything or just stating we're not sure, we'll get back to you later, check back. I've never been in a community where the CEO or any of the other higher level team members, advisors even, and influencers are actively in there engaging, answering questions 24/7. I think one of the reasons that we're so, in my eyes, special is that we are truly a global community, everywhere from Australia to Asia, the MENA, Middle East, North Africa region, Europe, of course, United States, Canada, and South America. We just have people all over the place. And that's not just from our team, that's within our community. And the reason we have a lot of these people that I believe staying and engaging with us for so long is because they see where we started with, which was the vision and the product. And we were always product centric. So we have exited stealth mode as far as marketing is concerned. And I'll get to that in just a moment, but we really wanted to build a product centric platform first. So we did something very unique, which a lot of projects aren't able to do, which is we bootstrapped our CEO, our founder, bootstrapped the entire project from his own pocket to ensure that this was done in the methods that he wanted and believed were done right. And we didn't have to worry about raises or timelines when it came to that. And we could get straight to development so that we could provide the community with this exact product that we've created as quickly as possible. And as far as it goes with regards to marketing, I think one thing you'll notice that differentiates Sheesha Finance from many of the other crypto companies in the world or crypto projects is that we're really, going mainstream, so to speak. So in the last few days, I've gone on several, national news channels, as well as international ones, speaking from everything from how much Elon Musk has been manipulating the market to Bitcoin and technology in general, to shortage in chipsets and what that's going to do to the tech sector. But more than anything, we, like you said, we don't try to brag about it, but we do put our money where our mouth is. And I know, judging by the titles that you were reading, that those were all coming from our Yahoo Finance press releases. So we are getting picked up by tier one media. We're doing very unique things as far as mainstream media goes. So, I've been on everything from NBC to News Nation, Cheddar TV, and these are things that most crypto projects, are never on. And it's helping create not only a larger audience, but a better understanding of the crypto space and blockchain space in general.
Musk also hinted today on Twitter that Tesla either sold or may sell all its Bitcoin holdings, and that sent the cryptocurrency price down today. That's on top of the tumble it took earlier this week when Musk announced Tesla would no longer accept Bitcoin as payment for its electric vehicles. Tonight, we're joined by Ben Leff. He is the Chief Operating Officer of Sheesha Finance. So, Ben, thanks for being on Prime tonight.
Thanks so much for having me, Aaron. I appreciate it.
So walk us through how this is affecting the price of Bitcoin.
So with regards to the price of Bitcoin right now, what we're seeing a lot of, we're in the middle of what is known as a bull market. So since about January, we have really been seeing some pretty large increases in Bitcoin's price, as well as the price of other cryptocurrencies. And what is happening now is a pullback. So when companies like Tesla make announcements that they're going to be making $1.5 billion purchase of Bitcoin, and they're going to start using it to accept payments, of course, that sends the community in a frenzy, and everybody wants to purchase it, which drove the price from $28,000 per Bitcoin to nearly $50,000. And when Tesla did that, they also conveniently increased the value of their books by $250 million. So it is extremely interesting to me that I find this not 1 month later that they have decided to not accept Bitcoin as a form of payment. And Elon continues to go on Twitter and talk about cryptocurrencies, which are creating a lot of hype and different types of emotions, something called FOMO, fear of missing out, or FUD, fear, uncertainty, and doubt, which really does drive the markets from a social sentiment perspective. And if these were stocks that Elon was tweeting about, the SEC would have him fined or at least investigated for making these types of comments, which is why more regulations need to be placed so people like Elon Musk and Gary Vaynerchuk don't make these types of comments about cryptocurrencies, and they focus solely on their professional skills, not the blockchain industry that has been thriving for 12 years without his expertise.
Well, he says he made the decision because of Bitcoin's energy use, but it's also true, right, that Tesla has its own carbon footprint issues with batteries.
Tesla has a significant carbon footprint issues, and it's not just with batteries, but we will start there. So Tesla still has not solved their biggest problem, which is their largest battery is over 0.5 ton in weight, and a vehicle can have up to 2 of those batteries. When the lifetime of those batteries is exhausted, there has been no way to reclaim, recycle, or properly put away, recycle or reclaim any of the material that has been used in these Tesla batteries. And in fact, there's no proper way to dispose of them in general. So although there might be an immediate kind of carbon reduction in your footprint when you're driving a Tesla vehicle, you also have to remember the carbon footprint that comes with production and the factories and the workers that are driving every day to these factories and things of that nature. None of those things are being streamlined in such a way that the vehicle itself or the company is entering anywhere near a net zero emission state. The cars themselves have significant issues when it comes to reclaiming material, like I had said. And so, of course, the green feeling, although it's a good feeling and it's a right direction to be headed in, Tesla has a lot of work to do to actually be a green company. And they cite Bitcoin as using a lot of energy and unnecessarily, which is quite ironic because they also, in the same statement, Tesla stated that they will be holding their Bitcoin transactions or selling them, which consumes energy on the Bitcoin blockchain. So it's kind of a double-edged sword for Tesla right now. They've put themselves in an interesting spot.
I want you to hear what one expert said about this, the impact this decision will have on Bitcoin. Let's listen.
I think it was a premature divorce between Elon and Bitcoin, and I'm sure that the industry will do just fine without Elon.
I could not agree more. We have been in this industry for 12 years without Elon's help. To my knowledge, Elon is not a blockchain developer. He does not know any blockchain code, nor does he have any of his own coins or tokens that he's ever created. So to my advice to Elon Musk, continue producing things like Tesla and SpaceX, but leave the blockchain cryptocurrency space to the experts. Thank you.
All right, well, we're going to leave it there. Ben, Leff, thank you very much for joining us tonight on Prime.
Absolutely. Thank you so much for having me. What's different, of course, about working with you and doing this interview is that I really have the opportunity to dig deeply into the project itself. You know, these segments last maybe 2 to 6 minutes, and it's very topical and gives highlights, which is great. And it's wonderful exposure to drive people and traffic to our site and things of that nature. But with you, Kristina, and with the Continuum market, what we really appreciate most about this are the technical things that you ask and your ability to take the information that I'm saying right now and turn it into a way that's digestible by all and able to be interpreted for everybody. So if I've said something too technical, I know you'll be able to explain it in a much better way than I have. So that's something that I've really come to appreciate about the way you engage with the people you bring on here versus the way I would say traditional mainstream media does, because we really do, it feels like 60 minutes. We really do have the opportunity to dive very deeply into some technicals and fundamentals of our project. And that's what makes us proud, because without knowing that information, how can you make an educated decision on whether or not you want to continue researching or possibly investing or contributing to the project?
Well, thank you so much, Ben. I couldn't have said it better myself. That's exactly what we do. And if you're open to it, I'd like to spend a little bit more time asking you some of those questions. If I'm sitting there researching a project for the first time and I happen to have the COO sitting next to me and I can ask those questions, that gives you an opportunity to go, oh, there's probably other people that are searching for that. I can have an FAQ, I can have a chat bot. You know those things because you and I have talked about that kind of thing for years. That's how the right way to do it. I don't claim to be the expert, but I do understand the words MetaMask and Ethereum and Uniswap and PancakeSwap. What I hear right now is that is completely congested. Can you tell me why your platform is or is not affected by the congestion that we see with the, we're just going to call it the ERC20 and ERC721 congestion right now?
Sure. So we are experiencing the same issues that everyone who functions on the Ethereum network are, which are incredibly high gas fees or transaction fees when interacting on the network. So in our process, and I'll explain very, very quickly what you had just mentioned, a couple of things. Number one, MetaMask is a mobile wallet or a digital wallet for cryptocurrencies that you can, it can be used as an extension on your computer as well as a downloadable app. You use this extension to basically, it's your account username and login to access our platform. So you type in your MetaMask password and it unlocks your Sheesha Finance dashboard. Now, MetaMask was originally designed, as you had mentioned, to operate all things Ethereum. So the very first time we saw a surge, and I'll never forget it, I would be able to send any amount of money, no matter what it was, in Ethereum for a fee of 13 cents, maybe 20, 25 cents, things like that in the early stages. And of course, we all remember CryptoKitties, or if you haven't, it was one of the first NFTs, or as Kristina mentioned earlier, ERC721 tokens, or a non-fungible token that came out and allowed people to start these digital collections. And that is really where the congestion began. And instead of paying pennies on the dollar, you were paying multiples on the dollar in order to obtain the same item. So sometimes when purchasing an NFT, you might be paying more in the fees than the piece itself maybe worth. So one thing that we did to kind of not circumvent this, because we are on the Ethereum network and we do hope for Ethereum success in their V2 scaling, and we will be there along the ride and with all the partner projects. But we also are on, you had mentioned Uniswap, which is Ethereum's decentralized exchange effectively. And we also have PancakeSwap, which is the Binance Smart Chain. And Binance has been really brilliant in what they've done in terms of tying in the integration to MetaMask. So you don't need any additional tools. We have a lot of very easy videos to follow along on our YouTube in order to how to get the Binance Smart Chain on your MetaMask wallet. And what that does, it kind of brings me that feeling back to the classic Ethereum days, where when I'm sending my BNB, my Binance tokens on the Binance network, not only are the transactions extremely quick, but the fees are extremely cheap. And that's where the game theory comes in right now with and why we created both of our liquidity generation events at the same time and on two chains, is because although Ethereum is a dominant marketplace and just overall ecosystem for all things DeFi and dApps, we are seeing a lot of growth on other blockchains, specifically Binance Smart Chain. So we decided to start there, and we'll see where we continue to go as far as scalability and things like that are concerned. One point to mention, and like you said, a lot of the reason that there is congestion on the Ethereum network right now is the NFT, non-fungible token craze. And I am guilty, like everyone, many of us out here, for being kind of obsessed with NFTs, what they can do, what they have done in the space, and all the different use cases that have still yet to be explored. But for example, our artistic ambassador, Vesa, he is a mixed media artist, world-renowned. He's been covered in Forbes 3 times with his works. He is, again, like I said, Sheesha Finance's artistic ambassador, and he created an NFT for us. And when we did the math to see how much that's going to cost to distribute the NFT on the Ethereum network to all our token holders, it was somewhere along the lines of $25,000 to $32,000 in taxes or gas fees, in order to get these NFTs distributed. We've since figured out a way to do it more efficiently, but it is proof that things like NFTs, scalability, as you add to a network, you need to be able to perform, adapt, and overcome, because it's obviously been shown now, and Ethereum, unfortunately, is kind of getting put up some pressure behind the gun here as far as scaling goes. So that being said, the NFT space is really blown up, and can definitely talk, for years about that. But it is a big reason there's congestion on the networks and on the Ethereum network specifically. And it is a big reason that there are other NFT platforms being built and blockchains being built. And hopefully we will see interoperability amongst these blockchains, so that we're no longer in pure verticals. And if we can tie it all back, everything becomes part of that tapestry, so to speak, that I said in the beginning. So it's not just the community or the projects, but it's the entire ecosystem that begins working together.
I love it. I'm so excited to hear that. And I'm a big fan of Vesa and the work that he's done and what he's done for ambassadorship, just for all artists to own their art and say, I'm tired of the middlemen taking 80-90% of the income of my art. And NFTs really changed that. I know Vesa's really on the leading edge of that. He's got his setup across the pond. Remind me where he's located. He's got a
full-on production studio in Helsinki, Finland.
There we go.
And it is the world's first fully immersive digital experience, where you can go and put on VR goggles and glasses and headsets and literally go walk through his art and experience it in real life, which is really, really, really cool. And in the meantime, there are things like metaverses out there in games like Crypto Voxels and Decentraland and whatnot. And Vesa actually has a pyramid that has been designed in Crypto Voxels, where you can go in, and it's a URL based game, and you can actually just go and see these amazing things. It's basically a decentralized Minecraft of sorts, and you can go and see his pieces. There are musicians and artists that get to display or can display whatever they'd like, and it's exactly what you said. So Vesa has not only been a mouthpiece for himself or for the space in general, but more importantly, helping identify and empower kind of what the future of art provenance is going to look like. And much like you studying the financial system and economics and the way that things have changed over centuries and millennia, the VESA has done the same from an artistic standpoint. From when the Medici family first created the Italian Renaissance to basically when we went kind of dark in our minds when it came to creativity. And he's really trying to break open that bubble and shed some light on the fact that traditional contemporary art, although as beautiful as it is not the same as what we're experiencing now with artists who have access to all different types of tools and mediums to get their outlets through. And an NFT is simply the deliverable at the end of the day. There are so many platforms that you can utilize and work on to build something and then turn it into an NFT and monetize yourself. And as you said, VESA has been a true ambassador to the space when it comes to empowering artists to take back what's theirs, work on their own digital rights. And he does a great job telling his story, which is 12 years of struggling and very difficult times to get to where he is today. And it's a very incredible story. And I think many of us who have been in this space have all felt that same feeling of, am I going to eat ramen noodles again tonight? Will I go hungry? Or, celebrating a big success and a victory. And as we continue and as the space matures, I'm seeing more and more victories arise because everybody who is deciding to stay in this space is here to help clean it up, help make it better, help make it something more accessible to the masses, and provide, again, that trust and integrity that we bring to our community, to the entire blockchain ecosystem.
I love it. And I'm so excited that you brought up not only NFTs, but also the VR side of it. I'm in this for the data, and data is not just 2D, it's 3D, it's immersive. You can touch it, you can play with it, you can forecast. That's where I get really excited about. I literally just got goosebumps because I'm a super nerd. But basically, I'm super excited to hear what Sheesha Finance is doing with its community on the engagement side. Speaking of engagement, you guys just hit what I would consider an event trigger. So we look for a couple different things on some of these newer coins to see if they're doing the right things. Now, I know that you already kind of had that roadmap. You know what you need to do because you went through it with Kraken, but you just got your coin market cap listing, which means you're probably somewhere closer to your Coinbase listing, which happens to be the true event trigger that our system looks for. So when we know that something is 6 to 8 weeks away from a Coinbase listing, like Doge announced today, we know that that becomes an event trigger in our intelligence engine and the data and the way that we look at all of that. So curious from your side, you guys just did this partnership for data and analytics. I'm looking at your GitHub. I'm looking at the fact that you post your GitHub, which means you have a GitHub, which means I could go look at your GitHub, which means some of your stuff is open and some of your stuff is not. That says a lot about your development community and people who are engaging on putting their hands on keyboard, which is a huge metric that most companies never make public. Something that I really champion because I think that the devil's in the details, and your developers are your first line of defense against having a phenomenal user experience turn into something that just kind of flops out there. So it's those developers, they put out the fires. I've been with them in the trenches. They're the ones that fix it. So your GitHub is a huge source of data points for me. We don't have to get into it, but I am very curious on your strategy as COO of data and analytics for Sheesha Finance.
Absolutely. So one thing I'd like to speak to about the GitHub, again, with the transparency, as you can see, some is closed and some is open. The closed obviously are still things that we're working on deploying. And once we deploy, they will become open. We keep an active bug bounty program going on. So anybody can go at any time and check our code, and they can come in and ping us in Telegram. And we actually have a Discord community set up specifically for bug bounties. And we have had so many community members come in as developers themselves, professional developers, and volunteer their spare time going through our code, looking through our contracts and things of that nature, and finding any bugs that may exist and helping out in that way. And of course, we have that bounty program to reward them for their time, their efforts, and for contributing in a positive manner to the ecosystem and environment. So that's one thing. Another that I'd really like to mention, I think a big reason that we might be hitting that event trigger function is because we've only been around for 7 months. And we are making a lot of big waves right now with regards to media, as I discussed earlier. We are hosting the pre-registration event for the AIBC Summit in Dubai next week, which is one of the premier events in crypto and leading technologies and blockchain and things of that nature. And Sheesha Finance, again, is the pre-registration sponsor. So we are going to have what is called the Battle of the Fittest. So it's a Shark Tank style pitch where people can come and pitch to us with their projects, their ideas, meet us, interact, and engage. And that's at the physical level. And if you're lucky enough to be in Dubai, you'll actually be able to see Vessa's works, not just in person, but in the digital world as well. And something even cooler that I'll just give a little tease about, but Vessa will be the first artist in the world to have NFTs displayed by a robot. And I'll leave it there because we will have a lot more coverage once the event comes out. So I think you'll really enjoy that. So we're gonna have a lot of really cool coverage on the ground. But when it comes back, like I said, to the community and how we keep them engaged, it's not just the bug bounty that's for the developers. It really is, the only thing we really don't like is price talk and price discussion. We have our own channel for that. And it's not to say that we don't like it. It's just that we're here to develop a project. And as a community-centric project, we want people to bring in their ideas. And because of our community, we have made a few decisions, such as we already had our first vote. So we're keeping the tax structure or the token structure the same as we originally had, and our community voted on that. So it was great to have consensus in that manner. And we're going to continue to be doing things along those lines. And then, like I said earlier, we are extremely engaged. If someone makes a comment about a bug or a glitch on the site, we take it very seriously. We have a support email that you can reach out to at any time, anything from glitches to bugs that you found, and we will get back to you about a solution. And more importantly, we take your feedback extremely seriously, so much so that our website is going under a 5-figure redesign right now because we got a lot of feedback from the community and stating that the website doesn't match the project and needs to be even more professional and incredible in the sense that the when you go to the Sheesha Finance website, it's a don't judge a book by its cover situation right now. And we are very quickly fixing that. Of course, website deliverables could be 8 to 12 weeks sometimes. Hopefully it'll be faster than that. But we listened to our community, which is the important part. And at the end of the day, we're going to have an extremely interactive site, mobile friendly, possibly even a mobile app, just to make everything even easier on our users and our community. And again, continue to take that feedback and let it thrive inside of our ecosystem. Everyone's voice is heard, whether you're a token holder or not. If you come in and you tell us something's wrong, you don't like the look of something, we're going to send it over to our design team and have them do some A/B testing and see if that goes along with what other people are feeling. We take your feelings, your thoughts, your opinions into very deep consideration and appreciation, because we know that there are tens of thousands of channels you can be in at any given time. And to spend time inside our community and to engage with our community and be in our channel means the world to us, because we know you're giving up precious time, which is the only resource nobody can afford to purchase, and providing what you believe is truly positive and good feedback in order to make this project grow and become more successful for everyone. And that is what really, really drives me, Kristina, is that all of these people really, really love, not just providing the feedback, but the fact that we take to it so quickly and take action on it. So like you said, we put our money where our mouth is. The partnerships that you have seen are fantastic. More to come. I can't wait to possibly maybe do some live streaming in Dubai and send some of that over to you for some coverage, things of that nature. I'll make sure to find that robot somewhere along the way and take some photos for the Continuum market community. Without a community, no matter how good your project is, you don't have a project. And no matter how much money you have, without a community, your money is useless. So it really takes the strength, and it really is a relationship, and it's relationship building. It's almost like a marriage or any other or business relationship, anything like that. It's a two-way street. We can't just say this is how we're going to run our project, and people may disagree. We really want to build something long-term with our community. So when they come in, they feel welcome. They get that warm fuzzy. They're part of the Sheesha ecosystem, and they really get to feel all those benefits, such as the partner project tokens and Vessa's NFT that we created and that he created, excuse me, and that we will be distributing. So there are a lot of really incredible value adds, and will be more so in the future, many of which will be thanks to suggestions and ideas from our community members.
I am so excited to be one of the community members. I'm excited to be a partner. I'm excited to keep asking you questions because I have you here.
Absolutely.
Everything that you are going for here, you're talking about community, which is a quantifiable factor if you are pursuing a DAO. If you just want to be Joe Schmo, your community can be whatever, but a DAO, quantifiably, you have to have a very strong community. And quantifiably, like you said, you have to navigate things like, what is the best you have to do all of your research, provide your community the pros and cons so they can then vote on it and then engage what's best for the whole. Now, DAOs tend to be like, oh, isn't that supposed to be how democracy works? But I'm just saying a DAO is a nice little example of how it could work if you had a community. So I'd really love for you to kind of expand on having this very interesting data set and experience of going through it with the first US-based exchange. You know very clear what a US customer can and can't do versus a different customer. You understand from Sheesha Finance the geolocation parameters that go into these kind of factors. My audience won't fully understand it, but they can Google it later. Can you please tell me what the heck is going on at Sheesha so I can understand?
Sure, absolutely. So I'm going to go back to block legs and take your quote there. It's such a great acronym. A lot of this comes down to legislation, regulation, or lack thereof, depending on certain cases, such as Elon Musk pumping up Dogecoin and Bitcoin and making some statements that were just blatantly untrue. And quite frankly, as I've said on many interviews on national television, the blockchain space has been here and doing well for 12 years. We don't need Elon Musk's help at this point. Thank you. And he can go back and go to work on Tesla and SpaceX. That being said, the blockchain legislation, it is all geographically, geocentric, we'll say. It depends on where you are in the world, what you have. If you're an ultra high net worth investor, accredited investor, any of those terms, in order to get access to certain deals and deal flow, that is dependent upon each country, upon each project, and also depends on what country the project has decided to headquarter in. So for us specifically, we are based out of Dubai. We are considering opening up offices in London and Houston, where I am, so that we become more regulatorily compliant and are able to offer more services to US citizens and investors. But the way the Sheesha Finance model works right now is, and under the legislation that we fall under, we are able to utilize, our investment or our ability to invest as an accredited investor, as a business. We can get access to these tier one deals, these private placement opportunities, and then according to their vesting or distribution period, we can actually start distributing those tokens to our US token holders. Once a token is listed on an exchange and publicly available, it's at that point it's fair game, and people can go and pick it up, no matter where they are. Not no matter where they are, but in most countries, including the United States. And that's something that was very important for Sheesha Finance. So the very first thing we made sure is that we were listed on both Uniswap and PancakeSwap simultaneously, so that our token was immediately liquid and had a use case aside from simply just staking. And that is going to come into play as we transition from an organization into a DAO, effectively creating what would be a board member situation from the community. The community will be voting on the most active community members, those who have been vocal from a community standpoint as far as UI, UX, the actual project, talking about different partnerships. Some community members have actually brought up partnerships with companies that we are now pursuing, just because there are some really great names. And so what I think we're going to see as the project grows, as the community grows, is a lot more communication inside of our channels and inside of our ecosystem about how this will be driven. And to give an example, as we continue and people see the flow and the process, it's very simple. Partner with the project, create a smart contract, and distribute the tokens according to the agreements that you've signed with the other partner. And that can be done in a DAO with as simple as voting. And so at the end of the day, we would like to turn the Sheesha token into a governance token, and it would be programmed into smart contracts. So with each Sheesha token, you get either a vote or a percentage of a vote, and you can send in your tokens and help in the governance and creation of this new decentralized body. So like you said, Bitcoin has been running just fine without a president or any type of formal board for 12 years now. And that's something that we hope to turn Sheesha Finance into. And right now, we are a member-managed organization, basically meaning that we have advised and do all of our own due diligence on the projects that we are investing in or strategically partnering with. And what the community is going to have to face, and these decisions are not just simple yes/no decisions. The community is going to have to face things like, who do we want to use as an analyst? Do we want to bring someone in from the outside? So the community will actually have use and oversight over the funds of the DAO as we transition out of being what people would consider a more central or traditional organization, and one that is truly decentralized and autonomous. And during this 2-year period, so not only did I talk about us wanting investors to learn about holding and utilizing their tokens during a bear market in order to earn some more passive proceeds on different projects, we are hoping that in the next 2 years, legislation across the globe gets cleared up and regulations along that line. So things like DAOs are another type of company that you can simply incorporate as and run as a member managed, with the members being all token holders. So that being said, that's our long-term goal. It obviously takes a lot of work from a regulatory perspective. At the same time, they do exist. There are some that function very well. There are some that do not. And we believe we've got the right stopgaps in place to make sure that we are one of the ones that are doing it correctly. And the biggest reason I can say that, and I believe it, is because we are already doing the right things, like taking our community's advice and implementing it. So all we're doing is pulling the trigger on decisions that the community is making. And pretty soon, or over the course of 2 years, the community will be able to make those decisions on their own or autonomously as an organization without us having to stand in the way.
Well, I'm super excited to kind of report on the status. I hope that you come back every week, every Friday, and come to our tables so you can report on the status of the road to DAO, because I'm very curious to see how this is going to work. And you know me, I will ask a million questions and get 72,000 data points. But one of the big things that we have to acknowledge is your monster list of partnership announcements. I mean, this marketplace is huge. So we have to talk about that before I let you leave. And we have to talk about Ethereum price and gas fees, because you guys are basically built on the rails that will be governed by, if Ethereum moves, it's going to affect Sheesha, is the way that my data science brain is looking at this. So there's got to be something that we can do for gas fees. I don't know enough yet. I haven't looked into it, but I'm like, hey, if we can have liquidity pools, we can have gas pools. We'll figure it out. It's an asset. We got to figure it out for the global economic engine anyway. So 2 things. Ethereum, which you might want to tackle first. And then the second part, partnerships. Holy crap, your Rolodex is out of control.
Yeah, and one thing I want to throw on top of the partnerships is the team of advisors that we've brought on board. We have people that do not typically associate themselves publicly with projects, such as David Namdar, co-founder of Galaxy Digital and CEO and owner of NFT.com. Again, Vesa is our artistic ambassador. We have diplomats and lawyers on our advisory board, and we believe that obviously empowers us to make the best decisions for our community. But let's go back to Ethereum. Let's tackle that one first. So, going inside the belly of the beast here, the Ethereum network, the Ethereum blockchain, of course, is the second largest one to Bitcoin, and is rapidly growing because of the decentralized nature or because of the ability to build decentralized apps and the nature of scalability on the network. Now, what we did to attempt, again, not to circumvent, but to provide an alternative solution, is also allow contributors to participate and buy their Sheesha tokens on the Binance Smart Chain. So yes, if ETH takes a dip, it may affect Sheesha because there are Sheesha to ETH pairings. At the same time, I'm going to go ahead and tie in those partnerships like Equify, like Royale Finance, Plasma Pay. There are some others that I want to say that are on the tip of my tongue, but I can't because press releases haven't come out yet. But DeFire, Mercer Finance, Music, which is a decentralized music platform for artists to create their content. They are all extremely excited to be working with us and partnering with us, and that Rolodex continues to grow. And one thing I want to stress is we originally kind of considered ourselves a DeFi fund, but we realized as we talked to more and more projects is we're not a DeFi fund, we're just a decentralized fund, mutual fund, because we are investing and strategically partnering with projects that are not in the traditional DeFi space. They're simply wonderful projects that are building things that help content creators and curators get their messaging, get their media and their content out there and get paid for that and get rewarded for that. So that is something that I feel is truly compelling to Sheesha with regards to the the advisory board as well as our partners. And again, going back to Ethereum, we are hoping, fingers crossed, along with the rest of the community, that, like you said, there are solutions out there, scalability. People have been working on it on Bitcoin for many, many years. You've got Liquid sidechain, you've got Lightning transactions, SegWit, things of that nature to help speed up transactions and reduce fees on the Bitcoin network. I can only imagine similar things will be created for Ethereum. What I find is very difficult right now that Ethereum is having to overcome is not only the V2 upgrade that they're doing and that they're trying to address this cost and gas fee issue, but the entire thing is moving from a proof of work model to a proof of stake model. And I will let you explain that to everyone in a deeper scenario. But because of that, it is going to be very interesting to see how the community takes to the new way Ethereum is mined or utilized, because we're no longer going to be having data centers mining Ethereum at the end of the day once they transition fully over into V2 and fully into a proof of stake system. It becomes more of a validator in a node type situation, where the more Ethereum you have staked, you can become an oracle. Perhaps Ethereum will work with companies like Chainlink and start getting in real world data. What I would really love to see from Ethereum, and I'm just calling them out right now, is Ethereum, I believe, has the ability to become blockchain agnostic, and by that I mean at least allow projects across different blockchains to communicate with one another. That's already been proven through bridges, technical use of bridges. But more importantly, the scale of Ethereum, not just from a token metric standpoint, because you can make as many tokens as you want, but also Ethereum arguably has one of the strongest communities as well. Also, one of the most contentious, hence some of the forks, as well as the proof of work to proof of stake decision that the team has decided to move forward with. And that is all, in my eyes, right now, some really fun game theory that we're going to see play out in an economic way, in a community way, and see how our ecosystem adapts to the second largest cryptocurrency, changing its consensus algorithm and seeing how the projects on it continue to function.
I find it very Darwinian. I find it interesting where some companies kind of go in their shell and then emerge. And then there's other ones that talk a lot of hype, but you never see an actual product come out. And so it's interesting knowing some of the people in the ecosystem and seeing very much what you've put together with your own Rolodex, what that means for your advisor's Rolodex when it starts adding in all of this network of network effects is really what you're starting to build here, all on Ethereum smart contract. And so basically I tell the audience anything on an Ethereum smart contract is like, to me, it's old news. It's like, yep, it's on Ethereum. It's like, just like 9,000 other projects. That's why we have gas fees right now. We'll find a solution because that's how evolution works. Sorry, any religious people, we're going to talk about science for a second. There is cause and effect. There's resources. There is ebb and flow, and there is responses to stimulus. And this industry is already seeing it. There was a negative response about proof of work is what they're talking about. That's the big data centers and mining, and that's not going anywhere. It's happening. But they had the carbon accounting conversation, which I think is brilliant because that means we have to have carbon accounting for everything, which I've been wanting for 10 years. So I'm like, yay, Bitcoin tipped the first domino. Great. Well, Ethereum and Bitcoin have both had press this week that have come up in the Continuum Discord, because I capture these things and send them on to you guys, basically going, we already have green solutions. And by the way, 2.0 is already the green solution. It was already happening. We didn't respond to this. We were planning anyway, because proof of stake is like proof of eyeballs. It's like proof of participation. It's proof of geolocation. And if you go into the own your data principles that we want to see these new platforms come out with, and that blockchain is so good at having these handshakes that Ben is talking about, these are the things that have to come together. And Ben and the Sheesha team have done an amazing job at bringing them together. I'm excited to go learn more. I will report back on what I find, but so far it looks very, very promising. Ben, Leff, would you like to tell our audience how they can get a hold of you, how they can learn more? Tell a little bit. I mean, feel free to kind of, you can kind of flex a little bit, pop your collar, talk about your speaking engagements. You're going to Dubai soon. I think you're in Miami soon. I mean, show off for the audience a bit, please.
Sure. So just last month, I was in Miami for the first NFT conference in person since COVID, which was absolutely outstanding. I want to give a big shout out to the Miami crypto experience and everybody who made it possible. It was a really incredible time. I was going to Miami. You did have that correct during Bitcoin 2021 and the 7 other events that are now there during the same week. That being said, plans did change, and I will instead be going to Dubai. It was not a difficult decision for me to make when it came to where I wanted to end up. And, just I'll go ahead and like you said, flex it a little bit. We are the title sponsor for the AIBC Global Summit on crypto right now. So during the pre-registration event and our Battle of the Fittest, where you can come in and pitch your projects, we are all in one night. We are going to have an NFT gallery. We are going to have meet and greets with some of the largest names in the space. We have huge banners of not just the Sheesha Finance logo, but more importantly, we're going to have Vessa's NFTs being displayed all over the AIBC Summit so that people really understand what it means to be immersed inside this culture and inside this universe. And we're obviously going to have hands-on engagement with regards to talking to Vessa or interacting with any of our team members for that matter, and utilizing the AR/VR tools that he has been so kind to bring over to Dubai. And we're excited to welcome over 3,000 people from around the world to learn more about this. And some of the biggest names out there, of course, will be there. And we are super excited to be right there alongside of them. One thing I am extremely proud of, and I just want to brag on my whole team for, is that we have been nominated for 3 different awards at the IBC Summit, which I believe is absolutely incredible. The first, my favorite, is DeFi Project of the Year, because we've only been around for 7 months and we've already been recognized by the AIBC team, which is 70% of the votes are from the AIBC team, 30% are from the community. So we have been recognized by industry leaders around the world already as doing something very unique and game-changing in the space. And within 7 months of simply announcing the start of our project to where we are today, we have actually received that nomination and are honored to be there. Our founder, Saeed Al-Armaki, is up for Investor of the Year, as well as Most Influential Person in the Middle East. Some pretty powerful nominations. We also have an advisor, Dr. Irina Heaver. She is also up for Most Influential Person in the Middle East. So we have 3 different categories that we are nominated in, and 4, I suppose, total Sheesha nominations from between Irina, both of Saeed's, as well as the project itself. So I'm extremely excited to really get out there, and I'll just do a little bit of a teaser for you from a community standpoint. I will be in Dubai, not just for the summit, but following up for meetings, things of that nature. There are other conferences going on shortly after the AIBC Summit. And we do what are called, we're going to be called our Sheesha updates, or basically a weekly update that we'll be doing for Sheesha Finance, Sheesha Spotlight, for example. And so we're going to be streaming from the event. I'm going to be posting on our Telegram channels from there, so that people, if they have specific questions, if they actually want to find somebody and talk to them, I am making it my job and some of my team members' jobs to actually go through the conference and speak to these people that we know and ask questions that are being asked by our community directly to these individuals, record those answers, and send them back to our community in our Telegram, which I think is something extremely cool and engaging. Imagine being able to ask Tim Draper a question, directly, and getting a video response from him. So that's something that we're aiming for. And of course, we're going to have other industry leaders that from crypto OGs to the newest projects on the block that are going to want to talk about their projects, their experiences. And we all want to share that through the Sheesha network. Extremely excited for our community to really be the first to see what's happening as boots on the ground in Dubai, because we'll be having so much coverage. And that to me is one of the most exciting things about being able to go to Dubai, is to bring all of the information, the partnerships, all of the positive news that we are gathering there, and release it directly to our community in our Telegram channel, which is t.me/Sheesha Finance. But you don't have to memorize that. If you just visit Sheesha SHEESHA.finance. You can find all of our social media links. Please follow us. Please join our Telegram community. You will be welcomed with a big warm hug and a big smile. And please feel free to ask any questions. We are here to educate and empower.
I am so excited on so many different levels. Ben, not just for the project. I have to go back to Dubai for just a second because I know we didn't talk about this and we're kind of recording. So, hey, everybody, announcement. If he says yes, I'm kind of proposing to you, I guess. That's weird. That's a weird lead up, Kristina. Here we go. We have the infrastructure to stream the Dubai coverage that you have and get that back to the community. We did it for Crypto Miami or Miami Crypto Experience, and we're kind of setting that up as an offering. I don't offer that very often because it's a pressure on the team, but Dubai is Dubai, and you guys are like the lead sponsor. We could totally do that, and that would be super, super fun. And I could live vicariously through you and pretend I actually get to go to conferences again.
Yes, so I'm not going to say no to that. You know, I saw the Continuum experience firsthand, or for your team firsthand at the Miami Crypto Experience, covering it virtually. You know, what you really do a great job of, and just want to pause here and take it away from Sheesha Finance and give you some kudos for everything you've done, is you're really breaking this down and providing information to people that not only is extremely useful and helpful, but truly empowering and in a positive manner, and in a way that they get this information such that, like you said, they feel that they're there. You provide a visceral experience. And by having you virtually with us in Dubai would be an honor. And I will do everything I can, not just to make sure that you're there with us virtually, but we have you covering some of the bigger announcements that we're going to be doing, and just drop some cool nuggets of information. And again, this is the beauty of what you bring to your network. Not only do you love your data points, but you love your community, and we all do, because without it, you know, we wouldn't exist. We wouldn't have jobs. I wouldn't be going to Dubai to even talk about any of this or do any of this. And the way you present the information, and like you said, data is not a 2D thing. You can see that in 3D. It's like a Minority Report. Like, I totally see you moving things around in your head like this. Okay. But more importantly, it's the way you deliver to your audience, not only from an educational standpoint and the way that you speak to them on a level that they understand, but also an engagement standpoint. So, you know, how cool is it, everybody here, that Kristina is offering services to cover some of our probably biggest announcements from Dubai live, and you'll be able to see it. So Kristina, I'm honored to take you up on your offer, and I truly appreciate you even providing that, because I saw just how wonderful you and your team were at the Miami Crypto Experience. I can only imagine how great we can make things in Dubai.
I am super excited. Just everything that you are doing is the fruition of years. I mean, 5+ years of, well, if we could do this, then we could do this. And it's so many smart people coming together to be able to be where we are right now. So you guys are doing a huge service to the entire industry. So thank you so much.
Thank you, and as are you. So please give yourself a big pat on the back, is much deserved. You have been, you know, an avid supporter of all things blockchain in positive manners for the years that I've known you now, and it's so great not to just have a friend in you, but to have a colleague and someone that I know and trust and truly believe. You know, when Kristina, you know, puts her mind to something, you know, people better watch out. There's a lot of amazing information that you provide in a way that no one else has been able to do so. And it's just been an honor, you know, being able to watch you work and grow in the space. And I think at this point in time, you know, as I stated earlier, right before we went live, you know, a lot of people are still looking at crypto as a get rich quick type situation, which, you know, it may have been in the early days, where the OGs who bought Bitcoin and went into the Ethereum ICO. Not to say that they were only lucky. Obviously, it took some guts and chutzpah to really invest in these things. But those types of opportunities are effectively long gone, as far as making, you know, 10 times or 1,000 times your investment. of course, you can still find that it's just extremely risky. So what we're really trying to do, and what I've seen you do personally, is help clean up this space with regards to identifying the good projects by way of data points, not opinions, but actual data that shows this is quantifiable, this is what is going on, and it can't be argued with, because again, sorry, religious people, but science wins when it comes to numbers and quantification of these things.
Thank you so much for being with us. Thank you for being part of the Continuum Transparency Marketplace, where we do deal flow and networking with the best brands in blockchain. Ben Leff from Sheesha Finance, thank you for being with us. Team and Continuum community, you guys can find them at Sheesha Finance.